Hello people, I am Ben, you are you, this is my video, welcome back. If you are new, hello. So, it's been about a week now since Triple H has been in charge of the WWE. He's had SummerSlam, Raw, SmackDown, and then another Raw that I finished watching about an hour ago. I think it was a good show. And I'm just going to talk about the changes he's made. So the first, subtle changes we've seen are unbanned words like belt, hospital, wrestler, and wrestling. I know it's crazy. We get to say wrestling in a wrestling company on a wrestling show with wrestlers. It's crazy, isn't it? So first, I'm going to talk about SummerSlam. The most notable thing is, first, Io Shirai. She came back. She's renamed Io Sky. That's just a thing they have to do. I guess that's the thing that's going to stay. She's now Io Sky. And, she was one foot out the door, reportedly. She was going to go back to Japan. She's 32 and already one of the best in the world. Would have been a massive miss, but she re-signed. And also, Dakota Kai. That is huge because she was fired. She was released by Vince in April, I think, and then brought back at SummerSlam. A statement made. The show itself, SummerSlam, it was fun to watch, but I think it was basically all booked by Vince and Bruce Pritchard. But Triple H said he was going to make some creative splashes. What those are, we don't know for sure. But it was a fun show. The matches were great. And I liked it. But now we get to Raw, which is where he really got to start making his changes. So, it was a lot better in terms of the flow. There was continuity. There was actual focus on wrestling matches. They went long. I think Bianca Belair and Io Shirai went 17 minutes. That for a women's match would have never happened with Vince. So that is one huge difference already. The show itself was a huge success. The ratings were up to 2.3 million, I think, which was a raise from 1.9 million of the Madison Square Garden show. And it was also the highest ratings since March 2020, which was the first Raw of the pandemic era. So, once again, another huge difference and just a common dub for Papa H. Another big change to notice was the push of Tommaso Ciampa. Before Triple H was there, Vince booked him as, basically like the Miz's lackey. He was just there, didn't talk at all. He just attacked somebody from behind, shook hands with the Miz, and that was basically his job. But with Triple H in charge, his first show, he won a triple threat match to qualify in a United States title tournament, I guess you could call it, and he faced AJ Styles, which he also won, which is huge because, Styles is known as one of the best wrestlers in the world, and Ciampa beat him. Ciampa was Triple H's guy in NXT. He was one of the best champions, one of the best heels, and we got to see that side of him on the main roster. The show finally felt like it had a purpose and it actually made sense. Wrestling matches led to somewhere, storylines were progressed, which follow into this week's Raw, which I'll get into later. But also what made sense was the main event was the Usos versus the Mysterios for the tag titles, which is showing they were getting rewarded for their win at SummerSlam. So it's just another thing that makes it more realistic and just better overall. Now I'm going to get into SmackDown, which is interesting because, of course, their roster is not half as good as Raw's, and their show was not as good as Raw. But there was small changes to pick up on, which were very interesting. The first was opening the show with Ricochet. I mean, he could have opened it with anybody, but he chose Ricochet. Why? Ricochet was one of his guys in NXT. I think he was brought into the company by Triple H. He was very high on him. And then he got moved up to the main roster and was just never utilised to his full potential like he was in NXT. So that was the first change to notice. And also, he got a win over Corbin, which was, he's just a prototype Vince McMahon guy. So he took the loss there. Another thing was Shayna Baszler winning the gauntlet match. There was 6 women in that match, and anybody could have won it, but he chose Shayna Baszler. Again, you ask, why did she win it? Out of everybody who could have got a match at the pay-per-view in Cardiff, Principality Stadium, 70 grand people in the arena watching, and he chose Shayna Baszler. She, in NXT, was booked as a monster. She was just some badass who would choke anybody out. She was, I think, a 2-time champ there, and she was pushed once again, winning the gauntlet match, which you can really see the Triple H effect and how it's different from Vince McMahon, because that match would have never happened. We'd get some one-off feud. We'd probably have Natalya in that match, and it would be an alright one, but Shayna Baszler, she deserves a push. It's someone different, which is what we as fans have been begging for. So another thing that has been changed for the better. Of course, the show was not perfect. I didn't really like the Kofi and Viking Raiders part of the show. I don't think Kofi at all should have been acting really happy. Big E's out with a broken neck. Xavier Woods is, I think kayfabe injured with his leg. He's lost his boys, and he's out here clapping and dancing and shaking his hips like he always does, as if nothing is wrong. But that's just, I guess you could call that nitpicking, but it felt very Vince McMahon, like the way he just came in, beat them up, and then it led to a match. It was a decent match, but the booking towards it wasn't great. Now, the best part of the show. We saw Roman Reigns come out here. He cut one of his promos, acknowledge me, the crowd cheers. He's basically a babyface at this point. You can't not love the guy. And then we see Drew McIntyre come out. He says he's going to beat their ass. He takes his top off. He's pumped up. The crowd's shouting. And then the screen goes black and white. We hear Karrion Kross's music. We see his Tyrantron with the bird. We see Scarlett. Drew turns his back, and boom! He is smacked by Karrion Kross. He gets his head beaten into steel steps. He hits him with that move where I think it's like his forearm to the back of the neck. It looked like it hurt. Karrion Kross is back in WWE. That is huge. He was a massive loss. Vince completely fucked it when he released him. He was easily a future world champ. We could have seen some good storylines with him, but we didn't, because Vince just thought, why not? I'll fire you. But now he is here, and I can't wait to see what happens on Friday. Now I'm up to date. I'm on to tonight's Raw. I'm gonna just remember things off the top of my head here. We saw Dominic, Ray, and Edge backstage. Edge was trying to make it clear to Dominic that he did not mean to spear him, of course, because I think Rhea pushed Dominic into Finn Balor or Damian Priest, and then it led to him spearing Dominic. And he says, Dominic is like, alright, we're cool, aren't we? Dominic grins, says, yeah, we're cool. And then he pushes Edge, and Ray gets in the middle of it. He says, he's known him for 20 years, he's family, he's cool, chill out, Dom. Dominic says, I've known you for 25 years and I'm your son. I can't believe you're picking his side. This is the first time we've seen actual tension between them. Vince, he was like hinting at it with Damian Priest saying stuff, but never have we actually seen it convincingly that there could potentially be a turn for Dominic here. But we got that with Triple H, which just shows how his booking makes more sense, and another good thing that he's done. We also saw the return of a badass Kevin Owens. He went out there, beat the living fuck out of Ezekiel. He hit him with that apron powerbomb, which is what he would do in NXT as the prize fighter Kevin Owens. And we saw that tonight, showing his, new aggressive side. And then, what was great, his post-match interview. He was leaving the arena. Kevin Patrick got got up to him, but in the background of his interview, there was a car. It was smoking. There was a car crash, which I didn't pick up on the first time. I was looking at comments on a post, and I went back and watched it, and you could see there was a car crash in the back. There was people checking it out. I didn't think much of it, but then later in the show, we see Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. They're walking, and then we see security sprint past them, which later in the main event, we saw more security, which you could guess were the same ones rushing through the backstage area, and they're grappling a guy. The guy takes his hood off. It's Dexter Lumis. Another return from one of Vince's releases. Another dub. The roster's getting thicker. I mean, the WWE 2K22 roster is starting to become relevant again. Half of their roster is just fired WWE superstars, but they're coming back, and it's really great to see. We saw a great United States title match between Tommaso Ciampa and Bobby Lashley, which continued from last week's Raw. It was a great match, probably Bobby's best match of the year. He picked up the win. Tommaso Ciampa loses. I wanted him to win, to be honest, because I really like him. I've always liked him. I was hoping he'd win, but I'm fine with Bobby because he's cool. Also saw another great wrestling match between Chad Gable and Dolph Ziggler. They got to showcase their abilities, which they never really had the chance to do these last couple of years with Vince. It's nice to see Chad in a singles run, which I think he was completely a waste of. I think he's about 40 now. He could have had such a great singles run, but he was wasted for years, which is sad, but at least we're getting to see his good matches now. We also saw the announcement of a 6-woman tag match at Clash of the Castle between Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky, which is great because once again, they could have put Bianca Belair with anybody. They could have just rushed a one-time feud and had her at the pay-per-view with somebody, but no, they waited it out. They made it make sense. They're actually going to build a story for her rather than just throw a title match that is meaningless and will be forgetful. They're trying to make title reigns important, and that's clear to see. Well, that's about it for the shows. I think Triple H has done a great job with just 1 week. He hasn't even had a draft yet. Once we get a draft, I think we'll start to see proper change, and that's when it will start getting really good because you'll have full control over storylines, who goes where, and it's exciting times, man. We haven't had this excitement for ages, but we get it now. He's done an amazing job. Obviously, it has been perfect. There's been some things to point out, like NXT. I didn't even cover it in this video because it was basically the same show. It's watchable, but it could be so much better. And once again, it'll take time. Don't expect change immediately. But from what he's done for now, it's been fun to watch, and it makes wrestling exciting again. It also makes Tony Khan raise his game with AEW. We have an exciting show on Wednesday, which I can't wait to watch. Wrestling is great right now. Then, yeah, that's about it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. It means a lot. I'm approaching 200 subscribers, and I want to keep growing this channel to build a community because nobody who I talk to really likes wrestling as much as I do, so I can't really talk to them about it. So if you want to leave anything in the comments, it would mean a lot. I would respond to you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.